When it really comes down to it, we're just everyday people, every one of us, and that creates conversation. Arrow.net, ARROE.net. All right, let's do some pod crashing. Episode number 163 is with Jamie Lee Curtis from the podcast Letters from Camp.
I'm very happy to talk to you on this lovely morning.
It is a lovely morning.
Where are you?
I'm here in Carolina, where we had some showers last night, but everything is just so nice and clean and fresh and
Yes, and I'm in Idaho, where it's clean and fresh and beautiful.
Are you over there by Coeur d'Alene, or where you at?
Oh, a secret location somewhere. I'm being held in witness protection because of Michael Myers. You know, they have to. You know, I wear like disguises and stuff. You'd never pick me out of a crowd.
Now, do you have a studio set up inside the home? Because I mean, it's so fun to be able to go 12 feet into a studio and then go grab something to eat real fast and come back and do some more podcasting and things like that.
Yeah, the studio is my iPhone. The studio is my iPhone. The studio is two little iPod things in my ears. And I can make the bed while I'm doing my work, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm a big fan of hospital corners. I don't know about you. Maybe you don't make your bed.
Yes.
I make my bed every day, and I like a good hospital corner.
I got to tell you, Jamie, that's part of my martial arts training, is that if you show respect to where you rested when you make your bed every morning.
Tell me about your martial arts. What form do you follow?
I am a third dan in Taekwondo. I started out in combat karate, but I wanted to kick high, and my Sabadim did not want me to learn that. He says, you're going to get old. Kick the knee. Take out the towers. Come on. You don't need to learn how to kick high.
Kick the knees. Take out the towers. I like that very much. Did you get to see everything everywhere all at once, speaking of martial arts?
You know, what I got to see was a path, and we call it the black belt path. And so now it's you have this vision. Now go pick up the rock. As we were trained, here is this mountain that we need to take down, and we're going to take it down one rock at a time. And that to me is the journey.
Oh, no. I meant there's a movie out right now called Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a big hit in the world. Starring Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, wow.
And there's big martial arts sequences in it, and I would suggest it for everybody who loves comedy and drama and martial arts.
Oh, man, that's definitely on the list. Let's talk about that podcast, because we talked once before about Good Friend, which I'm still madly in love with. But now, I mean, this is the third season of Letters from Camp. I love this. I love Mookie because I'm a daily writer, and I believe that what we put on paper, it's a dear future reader moment, because someone along the way is going to read it.
I hope so. I agree with you. Mookie Hooper is the young girl at the center of our 3 seasons of Letters from Camp. This is our final one. This is the season where Mookie gets bitten by the love bug when a very handsome young boy named Tallahassee Goldman, who's played by Jacob Tremblay, shows up at camp, and all the girls lose their minds the way girls lose their minds when a cute boy shows up. And it's a really beautiful, as you already described, it's a beautiful story of the coming of age of a young girl. It's set in 2005 specifically to avoid social media. We wanted to be able to do a show at a time when kids were still innocent. Mm-hmm. It is family friendly. It is super funny. It's emotional. It's romantic, and it's about something.
I love the way that you made it about the family, because when you're riding in the car these days, because I grew up listening to radio mystery theater, so these kinds of stories are huge in my heart, because it takes me back to my childhood, but at the same time it allows me to sit in the car and listen with my family.
And that's an old idea. And nowadays you see people they've got their own little earphones in. Nobody's talking to anybody. Everybody walking around. Nobody says hi to anybody anymore. I say hi to people all day long. Yep. They look at me like I've assaulted them. I say, hi, good morning. And people look at me like, what? I'm like, hi, it's called friendliness. It's called a greeting. Usually the response is, "Oh, hello, how are you today?" "Oh, I'm fine, thank you very much for asking." "Isn't it a beautiful day?" And then you actually converse. So, yes, it's an old idea, but in a very new modern way, because the television for your ears that Audible has really been the pioneer for is showing people that you can get a full creative experience in your ears in an auditory way and not be glued to watching something on a screen.
Do you ever find yourself in a situation where, because I know you're a people watcher, but then people are creatures of habit, and you see something different and you bring it up, and then right away they look at you and they go, "What are you, stalking me?" Have you had moments like that where it's like, all I'm being is a friend? Oh my God, I'm just trying to be a friend.
Of course. Well, and by the way, speaking of friends, on iHeart, I did a wonderful podcast called Good Friend about friendship.
Yes, you did.
And I did 2 seasons of it. I loved it. I had conversations with people from all over the place. I think it's still probably available on iHeartRadio.
It is.
And again, it's the opportunity to talk about friendship, talk about how we build our friendships. In this modern world where there's supposed to be so much connectivity, nobody's talking to anybody. It's amazing. I think people are more isolated and lonely now than ever before.
You're so right.
Why?
Yep.
We have all the technology to connect us, but it doesn't connect us.
Oh my God! I just talked about this on my iHeartRadio show. I was talking about how we've gone from where people didn't have a computer to where we've got everything now. But the sticker shock price tag is, who's going to pay for all of this? And in other words, what my thought was, what's going to happen to the next generation when it feels like we've got it all right now and we're not doing anything with it?
Nothing. So this is where the auditory experience. We are trying. These companies, there are a bunch of them, are starting to understand that the old idea of sitting around with your family, talking about ideas, talking about feelings, having those spirited and sparked by listening to something, a story, with sound effects and music. And on Letters from Camp, by the way, we have great main cast: Sonny Sandler, Edie Patterson, Kirby Hell-Baptiste, and great guest stars.
Yes.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Weird Al Yankovic, Daniel Radcliffe, Jacob Tremblay, Mitch Hurwitz, Christopher Guest, and you also get to listen to great performances.
You take us into an area that I know that will basically warm up the hearts of so many people when Mookie has her first kiss. Wow, that moment, we all remember that moment in our personal lives. There
are very few things that we will look back on and remember our firsts, and that idea that someone wants to kiss you, that they want to kiss you and you want to kiss them. That exchange of feeling and anticipation and wonder and nerves and what will it feel like? And all of those beautiful, gentle, natural drawings of a human being to another human being happens often when we are in our tweens, those first stirrings of feelings for someone else. And I thought it was beautifully handled. Thank you for bringing it up. Mookie does not think for a long time that Tal Goldman likes her. And I think we all understand how that feels, that we like someone and we think, they're never going to like me.
Yep.
And then maybe it turns out that they do.
Another part of the story that is very touching is when Mookie, has to convince her friends as well as herself that this is her final year at being at camp. We all face those endings, but as a, like you were saying, like a tween, Mookie this is it. This is it.
Well, it is because it's her last summer because she wants to be a journalist. And, we all have had to make choices and give up something familiar, give up something that makes us happy to follow a greater dream, to want to try for something bigger, to try to follow your heart and your mind and your passion and your ambition. And Mookie Hooper wants to be a journalist, and she has to make the difficult decision about giving up camp.
Yep.
By the way, we've just expressed big spoiler alert. So for all you parents listening, because obviously it's not young people listening right now, all you parents listening, don't tell them that Mookie gets kissed. Don't tell them
right.
that Mookie's leaving camp. But there is a first kiss, and Mookie does leave camp to go follow her dreams rather than her heart, and her dream is to be a journalist. And so she wants to go to journalism school, camp, next summer.
Wow. Did you pick journalism as a writer only because you know that, even through your own writing, it is your voice and everything else about you follows, but you have to be the writer first? You didn't go that route?
No, the writer of our show is my goddaughter, Boko Haft, whose mother is Lisa Birnbach, who wrote the Preppy Handbook. And so Boko has grown up with a mother who's a journalist.
Wow.
I know, and Boko herself is a writer, and I know that it has been a tricky path for her to identify that she also has the same dream that her mom had, but it's different, but it's the same. So I think that was an easy fit for Boko to write about, which is what happens when your dream is the same as your very famous parents, by the way.
Yeah.
And as you know, Mookie Hooper's mother, Caroline Goodman, is a very well-respected, one would say famous, news anchor, fictional, of course, in our show. And Mookie Hooper also suffers the slings and arrows of being the child of someone famous. And I certainly, being the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, understand those aspects of it too. How do you follow in the same path as your parents but want to have your own identity?
Yeah, and you've been so strong with that. Speaking of strength, October 14th, that's a big day for you. That's the big
boom.
Oh my God.
That's a day of reckoning for sure. It is the final battle between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. It is a 44-year relationship. One that has I'm going to write about for People magazine, and literal blood, sweat, and tears have been shed during these 44 years of this really quite terrible relationship between Laurie Strode and Michael. It's been arduous and scary and emotional and physical, and it's very exciting. And this last chapter is going to be something.
Has it ever given you nightmares? I admit, I'm transparent. It has scared me, and I've had bad nightmares because of the journey.
I could make jokes about nightmares. I don't have nightmares.
Wow.
I have vivid dreams. I'm a big dreamer.
Yep.
I love the unconscious mind. I love where it takes me. I love to learn about it. But no, my pain and suffering is during the work. It is a physical job. It's an emotional job. Those days are long and very heavy. And I try to leave my work, at work.
Yeah.
And, I have a family life. I'm married. I have children. I have friends. I have work. I have, things I'm interested in. I'm music, art, books, politics, the universe, people doing good things. I have a charity that I run called My Hand in Yours that I started 2 years ago in August, almost 2-year anniversary coming up, where we offer comfort items and celebration items to people in times of crisis and celebration, with 100% of every sale going to Children's Hospital Los Angeles. So if you go on our website, myhandinyours.com, you will find something beautiful that if you buy it, we give whatever the amount of money that you bought it and you sent it to someone, we give that amount of money to Children's Hospital. And I think we're coming up on $1 million raised in 2 years.
Wow.
So it's an experiment in philanthropy that I've started. I wanted to make sure that there was a legacy beyond being in the movies or being, a public person. I wanted to take that publicness and turn it into something of an advocacy for other people, which I'm very happy with.
What a beautiful heart. Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always, always, always going to be open for you.
Well, you never know. I mean, I am going to be out on the road in October, so maybe our paths will literally cross, and maybe we can actually sit in a room together rather than always being separated by a microphone or earphone. So I look forward to it. You're someone with, I think your martial arts training, I think is really, I think it's very inspiring to me, what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. You have a brilliant day today, okay?
I'm going to do my best. It's starting out really well. Have a good day. Take care.